Chapter 5, Becoming Native, Eco-Memoir, Bioregionalism, and Uncanny Settler Belonging. We are unlikely to achieve anything close to sustainability in any area unless we work for the broader goal of becoming native in the modern world, and that means becoming native to our places in a coherent community that is in turn embedded in the ecological realities of its surrounding landscape. Wes Jackson. I want to feel I belong here while respecting Aboriginality, neither appropriating it nor being absorbed by it. Peter Reed. In 1994, the U.S. agronomist and agrarian philosopher Wes Jackson published Becoming Native to This Place. 6 years later, in 2000, the Australian historian Peter Reed published Belonging, Australians, Place, and Aboriginal Ownership. Though different in many ways, both books are responses to settler colonial circumstances, in particular the various ways settler people can, and perhaps cannot, be said to belong in the places their ancestors have usurped, but where they now dwell, identify with, deeply love, and wish to inhabit honorably and ethically. One of the ways these issues of belonging, identity, and environment are given expression is in the literary genre of what we might call the eco-memoir. The eco-memoir involves the writing of self into place and place into self. In many ways, it is an ideal genre for the cultivation and expression of an ecological awareness and a place-based bioregional identity. The question of what it means to belong to a place, as distinguished from having a place belong to us, is an ongoing concern in settler societies, though often lingering more in the settler unconscious than in overt awareness. At times, this quandary generates what Australian scholar Lisa Slater refers to as settler anxiety, which she describes as settlers' embrace of indigenous culture and the ceaseless worry and concern for indigenous people, coupled with an evasion of indigenous political will. That is, many people of settler ancestry express an often sincere, if at times paternalistic, concern for the plight of indigenous people, but grow uneasy with solutions that entail restoration of indigenous land and sovereignty, solutions that inevitably challenge their own sense of belonging and identity. If the land is rightfully theirs, then how can it be mine? If they belong here, then how can I? For many such folks, as Slater sees it, indigenous people can only be helped within the context of settler colonial institutions and affective structures of feeling. I would argue that something similar arises in regard to the usurped and altered natural environments of settler places. Many settlers worry about and express great concern for the loss of indigenous plants, animals, and ecosystems, but become anxious and defensive about considerations of environmental restoration, even in relatively minor ways such as converting suburban lawns or university campuses to native plantscapes or replacing introduced cattle with bison. Such efforts to blatantly challenge settler common sense, to vigorously disorient the settler colonial imaginary, and, we might say, to assertively grant a sort of sovereignty to indigenous ecologies, for such efforts to be seriously entertained, however much people may otherwise worry about the state of the environment. This issue often manifests in a consideration of the means by which settler people can, as the phrase goes, become native to a place, a central theme in many eco-memoirs.